We took time to consider, and as usual, whenever the Prime Minister, in that case, I was the Prime Minister, when I studied it, I felt that we should drop the claim, and this was conveyed to the Cabinet. A Cabinet sometimes a debate, sometimes they don't, but the members of the Cabinet are even today in the government. There is timbalan Perdana Menteri Dr Wan Azizah, Menteri Dalam Negeri Muhyiddin Yassin, Menteri Keuangan Lim Guan Eng, Menteri Pertahanan Tuan Haji Muhammad bin Sabu, Menteri Pendidikan Dr Mazli bin Malik, Menteri Pembangunan Luar Bandar Puan Rina binti Muhammad Arun, Menteri Hal Ehwal Ekonomi Datuk Seri Muhammad Azmin, Menteri Perunding dan Kerajaan Tempatan Zuraida, Menteri Pengangkutan Anthony Low, Menteri Komunikasi dan Multimedia Gobind Singh Deo, Menteri Tenaga Manusia Tuan M. Kulasegaran, anak lelaki V. Murugesan, Menteri Pertanian dan Industri Asas Tani Salahuddin bin Haji Ayub, Menteri Kesihatan Dr. Haji Zulkifli Ahmad. All these people were in the cabinet meeting. Now, unless if they have anything to complain or object to the decision that should be taken, they could have spoken against it. But none of them said anything. So we have to assume that all these ministers agreed. And they are still in the government. These ministers are still in the government. They should actually be called as witness to verify whether they said anything or not. As far as we know, they didn't.
Some of them are called as witnesses, but you will not allow to attend and cross-examine them.
Yeah, some of them should be called as witnesses. And at the hearing, the strange thing is that the hearing is secret. And I wasn't called I was called only as a witness. But apparently, the whole objective of the RCI was to point out that I made a wrong choice without consulting the cabinet. That is not true. I mean, we consulted the cabinet, we consulted the experts, and then make a decision. You have to make a decision. You can't just leave it open like that. But they are trying to say that although I informed the cabinet, it is not valid. I don't know what they mean by being not valid, because they were there. These were people who were ministers, and ministers normally talk. I have had instances. I've been Prime Minister twice. I had instances where my proposal was rejected by cabinet. Members of the cabinet rejected it. So these people were in a position to reject my proposal, but they did not, and therefore the decision is by the cabinet, not just by me alone. Although they seem to keep on repeating that I made the decision all by myself, and that is not true at all. And you know, this publication, once a lot of these things are blanked out.
47 pages.
47 pages.
Put it behind you.
You see, so even this document, lots of things are hidden. I mean, it should be full document. It is something that is of interest to the public, but they issued this with this cancellation. So this paper is presented seeming to pinpoint that I was the one who was responsible. It was not me alone. It was the cabinet. But of course, they cannot very well charge the whole cabinet. So they want to charge me under criminal law. I mean, what do I gain from that? I gain nothing. It is in the interest of the country that I made that decision. And I know that middle road is valuable to us, and we can develop it. At the same time, we have we have the expert witness and all that. But decisions by cabinet often take that form. People know that I carry a small book where I write things, and it's not presented as a paper. What I write there, I tell the cabinet, and they make a decision. It's not always that we prepare a paper for the cabinet. So those are the points I like to make here. But to charge me as a criminal under criminal law, I have never worked for Singapore. Everybody knows that I have been very difficult with Singapore. Singapore is difficult to deal with because they keep on postponing decision or demanding that all the problems we have with Singapore must be solved at one go. And that was not possible. So with Singapore, we should continue talking with them to get these things resolved. But as far as Pedro Branca is concerned, we have already decided to go to ICJ, and the decision of ICJ must be accepted by us. So
you have prepared your full answer for
Yeah.
the MPs to us
Yeah.
tomorrow.
we have prepared the points that I mentioned just now, so the MPs can read what actually happened. They are going to debate this day after tomorrow.
Yeah.
Day after tomorrow, they will, everybody, including the press, the press will get this paper because it gives in detail what actually happened. Most of it is what I mentioned here. So if you have any question, you're welcome. Yeah.
Tun, the Prime Minister has called it that you have committed treachery by giving away Pedro Branca according to the decision. What do you say to the word treachery, treacherous being used against you?
I think Tun say it's rubbish. It's rubbish. It's rubbish.
It's not, how can you describe it as treachery when I do it without any personal gain and gain for the country, this middle road? We make a good decision. It's
Based
not
on-
treasury.
Based on the legal experts, the QCs and the foreign legal experts, Tun did not make the decision himself.
Yeah, I work on the basis of the information that I get from the AG staff, also the foreign experts.
Tun, when you asked the questions to the AG staff, nobody knew what Apandi was doing.
Yeah. The strange thing is that the AG staff does not know what the AG was doing when Apandi was there. You know, Apandi was not regarded as a good AG because he investigated the case of Najib in 6 months, not thoroughly, and then he declared that Najib had done nothing wrong. And we know that later on, when the case was presented in court, Najib was proven wrong in 3 courts: High Court, the Appeal Court, and the Federal Court. 9 judges decided, and yet Apandi says Najib has done no wrong. That is a kind of not following procedures properly. He should have done a very thorough examination, but Apandi didn't. So you cannot trust Apandi because he seemed to support the decision, but he was made chairman of
Special task force.
the task force. which recommended the setting up of the RCI.
Betul. If they call you treachery, then the whole cabinet is treachery.
Yeah. It's pointed out that the decision actually is made by the cabinet. The whole process was gone through, and if I am treacherous, then the whole cabinet, including my deputy prime minister, was also treacherous. Yes.
Do you see this as politically motivated?
Is this politically
Politically
motivated?
motivated.
I think very much so, very much so. The whole idea is how to destroy me and see and calling me treacherous and all that. You know my stand against Singapore. I have been very strong on the relationship between Malaysia and Singapore. We don't give in to Singapore.
Tun, jika siasatan jenayah